Good day to all of you that have found your way to this video. Christa Heibel, CEO of CH Consulting Group, and I'm here today with a very dear friend and industry colleague and leader, Corey Kotlarz, and we are excited to talk about Corey and Outsource Consultants and 2025 and 2026 and all the things. So I have had these conversations more than 1 year at the end or beginning of a new year with Corey. I'd love to get his perspective on the BPO, CX, outsource, and technology space. I don't know anybody, and I've said this many times over the years, that probably has a better handle and a better view of what is happening around outsourcing and customer experience and trends and things in that space. So I really look forward to this conversation. It's been a while since we've had a chance to update. So this is real and raw as we have this conversation. And Corey, I'd love to give you a minute to just introduce your business and talk a little bit about what you guys do, and then we'll kind of chat.
Awesome. Well, great to see you, Krista. It's been way too long, and
Mhm.
I'm excited to have a chat and keep it real and just dig in all things CX, BPO, contact center, AI, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So just a little bit about me and outsourced consultants. So I've been a contact center industry junkie. We'll just leave it at 30 plus years. You and I have been in the trenches for a long time, enjoying this wonderful industry. About 12 years ago, we launched Outsource Consultants, and it's a CX advisory firm that helps top brands in the world with their outsourcing and digital transformation, AI strategy. In our early years, we were focused primarily as BPO centric labor strategy, but obviously with things over the last several years with technology really penetrating the BPO industry more than ever versus 10 years ago, or it was client extended their telephony platform and their CRM, and that was the technology conversation from client and BPO relationship, where that world, that black and white world is changed dramatically. So we're here as an advisory firm to really help organizations with that clarity in the marketplace of kind of what's their optimal digital strategy with AI, as well as the labor strategy, labor optimization. So we've done a lot of cool things. We're a boutique company of about 24 people, and really powerful knowledge from both the technology side, advising clients and BPOs on what is the best strategies in practice. And so we've learned a lot in 2025, and just look forward to unpacking some discussions regarding labor optimization and technology optimization.
Yeah, listen, I love it. It is part of why I wanted to catch up with you. I love your contact center CX junkie for 30 plus years. I'm going to borrow that because I like that. It's been wild. The tech side of this has been wild. And as a consultant in this space, I am always amazed at how many times we go back to standard best practices around training, leadership, and workflow and process items that are the same from when I feel like I was running a call center 30 years ago. But the
Right.
tech side of the world has been a wild ride the last 10 to 14 years, from, on-prem to cloud and CCaaS and the evolution of all of these capabilities now with AI included in that, and the whole digital side has been wild. And I don't know very many that have transversed that workforce, outsource, labor side of the business to the digital transformation side with clients as effectively as you guys have. I think you guys are playing a really important role right now within that whole CX space between not just what our clients doing with digital and outsourcing, but a heavy influencer in the outsource BPO space around how to leverage this technology and really what BPOs need to have to be competitive, right? And to be in that future state that they need to get in because there's just a lot going on, right? Can we kind of just talk about that for a minute? Like, what do you see the impact of where this technology is meeting labor specific to the BPO outsourcer industry? Like, what are some of your just key call outs or learnings or priorities there?
Yeah, it's really moving incredibly fast. As everyone knows, you look at the headlines about AI adoption in all industries, but from the BPO landscape, we're hearing from the client side, what the needs of the clients are, and it's a cloudy. I'll keep using the word cloudy because nothing is really clear in the market right now, other than clients do want to adopt AI, or really they want to improve their efficiency and improve outcomes, and AI as a conduit to that. But from our perspective, working with BPOs, we've got a proprietary database that drills down 55 different data points on each BPO partner, from the basics of where they're located, what's their compliance standard, what's their DNA, what's their expertise. But now some of the needs in the marketplace is, what's their tech stack look like? Is this BPO able to hold my hand as a client and meet my needs 6 months and 6 years from now? And if they adopted the technology that we need to drive innovation and productivity with our company. So we look at like five key areas that, when we're looking at a BPO that is for a right fit with a client, um, do they have these tools? One is accent reduction. Some call it accent neutralization technology. If a client or the BPO is in a nearshore market or offshore market, do they have that tool? It's a really powerful tool. There's some key market leaders that have been, literally the last 6 months, the quality of the voice. It's not changing it massively, but it's enough that it's a much more pleasant experience from an accent reduction standpoint.
Well, and that's a
Leveraging,
big
yeah,
market driver, right? I don't want to stop you. I want to get through
yeah,
the five, but accent neutralization is a big market driver. It's like when we go into these offshore markets, we kind of saturate that first layer of English, then we go
yeah.
deeper, then Americans get a little more feisty around the quality of that, right? So that's a changer to me on a global level, right? Of seat placement.
100%. It's making, we'll get into more detail, but
Yeah.
it's making markets like Philippines and India a lot more attractive, because
Yes.
cost reduction in those markets, putting that accent reduction
Yeah.
layer kind of improves the CX, CSAT, and other outcomes.
Yes.
Even sales conversions. We're seeing some collections firms that have in the Philippines adopted accent neutralization, and lift rates from conversions are up 30%. I mean, like,
That's fantastic.
meaningful
Yeah.
outcomes. So
Yeah.
so that's one technology. Leveraging AI in training, simulated training tools. So if an agent is flagged as not performing at a high level, you can send them in their downtime, really interactive training tools, leveraging AI, kind of scripting on that call that you failed on. Now we're going to do simulated training to make sure you
Mm.
understand what excellence looks like. QA, 100% QA. The old school of 5% of your calls on a monthly basis are being monitored. No, that it's 100% now, and where you can look at the laggards on a digital dashboard and really work with them and do that simulated training. So that's really important. the conversational AI or agentic, do they have those tools to drive those digital conversations? And the last one is, agent assist.
Mm.
It's really helping the agent be more productive, reduce call time, but even the agent CSAT score, the SAT score is going up because they're doing their job more efficiently. So now, 2025, we look at that, those tools are table stakes. So if the
Mm.
BPO doesn't have those as a foundational from a service delivery, there's gaps there. So we're tracking all of that. And so literally when clients are trying to find that right fit BPO partner, it's a cloudy marketplace, as I said. So we're able to be their CX Sherpas to find that right fit BPO that's going to meet their needs right now and in the future. But one key element is everyone's talking. They have these tools, but vetting them appropriately, like how many clients do you have using this? What are the outcomes? Like what are the CSAT gains? What are the cost reduction gains? So not just saying you have it, but tangible examples. That's what we're
Yes,
holding
yes,
our
yes.
BPO's feet to the fire because everyone says they've got these shiny objects, but if they're not being used efficiently for effective outcomes, it's all BS. Basically.
Listen, I this is why I get so excited to talk to you because like yes, to everything you just said, first of all, I love your list. I love you didn't start your AI list with a voice bot
Yep.
because there are so many operational tools under the CX umbrella that can drive efficiency, better customer experience, improve P&L, lower cost per contact, all higher quality that are way before you get into like literally the chat or voice bot. Not that we're opposed to those items as well, obviously, they are part of the solutioning, but I feel like when we talk AI, because there's a lot of different AI, everybody goes
Right.
immediately to that. So we are very much again in sync on a lot of the same standard tools that we would recommend to our clients, BPO or in-house, to look at from a overall operational optimization and customer experience improvement plan, right? So I
Exactly.
love that. 5% on QA, I wish.
Yeah.
Before the 100% QA, I was lucky if clients were doing one, but we'll
I was
leave
I
that
was
as
I
it
was
is.
being I was
Yeah,
being
I know you were.
overly
I know you
generous.
were.
Overly generous. Yes.
So here's what I'd love to ask. So listen, this is wild. To your point, what we used to define on our consulting like assessment and strategy scopes, which we do a lot of to help organizations like benchmark where are you and what is your strategy around tech, operations, outsourcing, whatever we're working, right? One of the things that we used to always feel and we define as the tech stack, right? Like this is the table stakes you have to have. And this is the then where things are going, and you might want to think about based on your business requirements, priorities, budgeting, and all of that. And I
Yeah.
think your point about what is table stakes today for these BPOs is a really and internal. I'm going to take it back to my clients' internal operations as well. Is
Yeah.
changed so drastically. So, how big is that gap, Corey? Because I'm with you on the overselling. AI companies are overselling capabilities, BPOs are sometimes overselling capabilities. Really doubling down on that and really knowing and having them show you what they have is a big part of what we bring value also on and
Yeah.
helping clients figure that out like you all do. But how big do you see that gap between the market and where they're really at and what the market wants or needs now?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we've got a really interesting perspective on this. So 3 years ago, we saw this innovation coming fast, and so we created we call them BPO Innovation Summits. Initially, they were sponsored by Google and NICE, and we'd meet at Google facility, invite 50 of our BPO partners to really and bring in different technology organizations, and, very AI centric, but contact center technologies. And we're sharing with them that hey, the BPOs really need to lean in. The old school that I just described with just extending CRM and telephony is no longer the case. So you need to be lean in from a differentiate standpoint. Build your tech stack, build your use cases. And 3 years ago, they were. Um, this is interesting concept. This is great thought leadership. We had some great events. But the adoption rate wasn't, and the seriousness wasn't there. And then, so this is 2023. In 2024, we do two summits a year, and again, same theme, 50 BPO partners. We talk about thought leadership, trends in the industry, technology speakers, and there was a little bit more engagement, that adoption rates, but it wasn't like the sky's falling. 2025, we had two summits. The last one was in Chicago in October, and it's real out there. So people were in the front row taking notes and we were talking about these like table stakes right now. And we're talking about use cases, and they get it now. And like literally they weren't even incorporating as much in their new business pitches. They weren't talking about outcomes. They weren't really using that as a key differentiator in the marketplace. And I want to also clarify, our most of our network is mid to upper size BPOs, meaning BPOs from 5,000 seats to 50,000 seats, mid market defined. So we're not typically with the big billion-dollar publicly traded players. We do work with them on occasion, but the vast majority is within this middle market BPO. So in the last year, the adoption rate, the use cases, and the seriousness has escalated dramatically. To answer your question, there are still some gaps, and we're actually doing that gap analysis, and it's getting real that BPO calls us and says, "Hey, why aren't we being included in any of your searches? Because you don't have accent neutralization and agent assist in your tech staff. If you don't have these five standard pillars,
Yeah.
we're not taking you as seriously as we did 2 years ago as a BPO part." So it's getting real
I
that
mean, if you had to guess in the market, how many have the table stakes today? 10%? 20? In that
um,
mid-market range where you play, if you
we
had to guess.
we we actually just did a survey 3 weeks ago, and I haven't even seen our team is doing that. So we're
Okay.
we're doing literally technology survey of those five. I'll have the answer, exact number of
Can we have you
what.
back? Can we chat about it when you
Yeah,
have the data?
I
Yeah.
can kind of give the survey results from that, but
Yeah. It
it'll
would
be
be
it'll be
well what
it'll
you
be very interesting.
because this is one of the things that I see happening. We've gone through some trends, right? And because you and I have been around 30 plus years, there was a time when the outsourcer carried the tech stack. You outsource to their platform, their technology, right? As we became more cloud enabled, then there was more maybe where the client would own the technology and put the outsourcer on the tech stack. I feel like with cloud, we were swinging more in that direction, right? So there was a lot more bring your tech to the party when you outsourced, like when the cloud came from the prem. And listen, BPOs, I mean, over those 30 years, margins in that space have gone up and down. It's
Yep.
not always been a super fat business to be a BPO domestically, right? Like
Yeah.
labor rates, like post COVID, like there's all these factors. So I feel like there's a lot of pressure on that contact center outsource partner right now where they were leaning more in, not on all, but leaning in on clients bringing tech and often not spending any money unless very specifically a client was requiring them to. Now they got to totally change that budget, that strategy around to like build it so they come. And I feel like that's a big change in the last 12 to 24 months.
that that's so spot on because it's very, very interesting. And we haven't talked much in
You and I have
2020.
not chatted in months.
So
Yes.
that's exactly what. So we're talking to like top brands. Like literally 2 months ago, a major footwear, top five footwear company, and they're outsourcing right now in multiple geos globally, and they're trying to decide. Do we invest in agent assist? Do we invest in accident reduction? All these different technologies that I was just talking to you about. And I said our opinion is like it's moving so fast, Mr. Shoe client, is that put the onus on the BPO partner. Find the right fit BPO that has a very, very strong IT tech stack team that they're constantly reviewing these technologies because if client adopts a new technology, implements it, tests it, drives it, by the time it's fully functional, it's like it's yesterday's news. So put the
Yes.
onus on the BPO partner and leveraging their expertise because they're constantly evolving and reviewing new technologies. And then if that agent assist tool is not meeting your outcome objectives, you bring in the next market leader, and it's the BPO's problem to figure out. So
Yeah.
that's why we're really wanting to understand which BPOs have that experience and the outcomes and the
Yeah.
expertise to drive that innovation and less on the client side on because of that speed in the marketplace.
I'm
So
so curious about what that looks like because honestly, Corey, I feel like they weren't carrying that expertise for a long time. I mean, when we went into like, I just feel old now, but when
yeah,
we went into cloud and we were doing CCaaS, a lot of these mid-tier BPOs are running enough IT and tech stack or tech resources to run the day-to-day business. And there was a period that felt even as the experts in this workflow, right, and of
mm,
this technology, keeping up with just CCAS in some of its initial phases was difficult for internal IT BPO mid-tier
yep,
operations they don't have the extra hands and resource and budget, right? To like go out and do all that research and to figure all that out in a market that's overselling. I mean, let's not lie, right? Like
yeah,
as
and
CCAS was being built, it was being built in a bolt-on acquisition and it wasn't even true Omni. And even in our discussion of Omni, there's still a lot of multi-channel, not true omni-channel out there. Now you're layering AI and all the AI, which is not one thing, but five, six, seven different tools to look at. So I feel like that's a really big change on these BPO
yeah.
IT departments. It's why I've been watching what you've been doing and your summits and the role that you're kind of playing there, and it's really key because yeah, it's just happening like you said very quickly. So
Exactly. And that's where this has been a multi-year journey to get them to get this point for this speed to adoption. As I said,
yeah,
2025 was a real critical year from implementing, testing, training, getting use cases because we're expecting a BPO when they're presenting to a client to talk about specific use cases for that specific technology. So it's not just ideas in vaporware; it's actual. So if they can't do that, we're not putting them in front of the
yeah,
client. So
yeah,
it's that
yeah,
big of a deal that's impact. So we're meeting with leadership at the BPOs, making sure that they're fully embracing all the
yeah,
tools in their tech stack and have a clear strategy around this and execution from a delivery
yeah.
standpoint. So it's a
Yeah,
big,
it's
it's a big
brilliant.
deal. Yeah.
Well, and listen, it's a revenue change play at some level too, because seats will inevitably go away. Like this will, true chat bots and voice bots. We have clients that have had very successful deployments of those tools, even though, again, we like to talk about all the different AI
Yeah.
pieces that make up an optimized operation and CX experience. And that changes headcount. And so if you're not at some level also tied to the digital side. Like there's a transformation for the BPOs happening here a little bit, I'm assuming, around revenue and how that is also going to be structured as a partner to their clients on CX moving forward, right? It's not just heads. Yeah.
Exactly. They're utilizing some of these digital tools to they're charging for them. Or building them into their
Yeah.
cost model from a hourly head count. But there's also some outcome based pricing that's evolving in the marketplace. So some of the really proactive BPOs that are talking the talk and walking the walk are charging just for outcomes, and
That's fascinating.
that's really progressive. It's a small portion of the marketplace,
Yeah.
but that will grow
Yeah.
year over year as the technology, because everyone's talking about, hey, implement this technology, and your AHT is going to go down, your CSAT's going to go up, and these are the six outcomes that we're going to do. We're as a BPO partner for you, and you can lock in a contract and say, hey, okay, our AHT is 5 minutes right today, and if that and we'll charge you for $5 a call. Let's just use round numbers
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
and then it's on the onus for the BPO to drive efficiencies down so their profit margins can improve. And if it goes up, it's capped. So the onus is on the BPO
Yeah. I like that.
to
Yeah.
drive the efficiencies
Yeah.
down so their margins improve, because
Yeah.
that's how they're.
Well, and the more you integrate the digital solutioning to the client, the more you're a CX partner and not just a contact center partner, because those are two different things. And as much as we talk about digital, like there's still a lot, the voice and labor is still a significant part of all of this. And
Yeah,
so, but that will continue to evolve, I'm sure.
yeah,
So, Corey, any other like specific outside of the tech and all that, any other just specific key trends or things that started in 2025 that are worth mentioning? I always like to ask at a global level with you too, like specifically any like hot spots around like outsourced global markets or trends or anything worth
yeah.
mentioning.
Yeah, 2025 seemed to be the year of Egypt. It was
Mm,
literally, um, we probably did 25, 30 searches in Egypt. And
wow.
why Egypt? And so a lot of companies have been, with tariffs implemented, cost reduction has been important. And so Philippines and India are obviously table stakes from a cost reduction and offshore strategy, but a lot of companies that have outsourced with multiple BPOs want to geo diversify. So how do I geo diversify with strong English, need great access to European languages, and similar cost structure to the Philippines?
Mm,
Cairo hits all of those areas. Great English, great access to languages, and very, very cost efficient. And on top of it, the performance is great. So we've done a tremendous amount of business in Egypt this past
excellent.
year, and all those clients are growing, hitting their KPIs, and so that's been really, really hot. It's kind of like 2024 was. South Africa was a really hot market. So Africa continues the theme of hot country. I think nearshore has been hot over the last 5 years, but what's happened in the nearshore market is supply and demand. Is literally every great market in nearshore has gone from pretty strong ROI to the prices have gone up. Quite a bit, several
Mm,
dollars an hour just in 2025 with
wow.
supply and demand. So that's what was fueling Africa as well. So nearshore, we're big fans, advocates of nearshore, but there's pockets that there's high saturation rates that we're cooling off on specific countries and markets within the nearshore. because the ROI has gone away with increased
Yeah. And
rate. Yeah,
I know it's not always the number one factor, but at some level, offshoring is always driven by cost. So that's going
right.
to impact that swing. Egypt, it's funny because we've had clients there, like there's been a presence there for some time. It's interesting to hear from your perspective because I felt like last year, like America re-woke up to that market. Like there's been a presence, but it was never like the South Africa, right, got really exciting for a while.
Yeah,
But it's always been a really heavy European support market for some of our clients there. So,
exactly.
I feel like a year ago there was a lot of talk about other like that mid-tier part of Africa, right? Like Kenya and you and I have talked about Ghana and but that didn't seem to really take off. That was really, I think, predicted under really like low labor rates, like
Yeah.
cheaper than even South Africa, but it doesn't feel like that really took off like I expected. Any comments or
No,
thoughts on that?
exactly. And February of 2024, my colleague and I, we spent 10 days in Africa. We visited several markets in South Africa, as well as Kenya, and and we interviewed the agents, and we visited several different BPOs. But we love the agents, the passion, the skills, the everything was there from an agent standpoint, and even the cost structure. But some of the mid-tier management in some BPOs wasn't as strong. Say, in my mind, I would go to the malls, and everyone would have guns, and there's been so I don't know, from maybe it's a safety issue, but no, I mean, we had a BPO open up a greenfield facility in Kenya, Nairobi, and they got zero clients in that facility. This is a BPO that grew 25% in 2025, and they couldn't place one client in
They weren't still on
because
the
no
market.
one no
Yeah.
one wanted to be that first client.
Yeah.
But I'm an advocate overall from a cost benefit standpoint. But the client has to be the right fit for that for those Ghana and Kenya, as we've talked about. So it is
Well,
it
and
is
as long
interesting.
as there's more mature markets and capacity there, and then I guess then that people are just not going to take that jump, I
It's a
guess.
risk
Yeah. Yeah.
standpoint. So yeah, exactly.
So what, just a couple more questions, but so what do you see coming in 2026? We're sitting here today. You and I were talking about that getting back up on the horse after the holiday season and
Mhm.
break. I think we're both feeling excited about 2026. So, what do you see, in the year for outsourced consultants? What do you see for the year from a market and industry perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it's really a lot of what we talked about earlier. The clients that have current BPO relationships are reevaluating. We're doing RFPs right now that, hey, I'm an outsourcer with the same BPO. They're just not providing as much innovation, thought leadership. Tech stack. So I think that a lot of clients are going to be looking at geo diversification, making sure they don't have all their eggs in a certain geo from a risk standpoint. We had some clients that Jamaica
Mm,
exposed that issue, that they had too much of their footprint in Jamaica. So now they're recalibrating that. I can't have too much of my
mm,
outsourcing footprint in one specific market, because that was a real situation that well, a lot of clients woke up and said, "Hey, we need to really look at our global diversification." So we're helping clients look at that. Technology adoptions, which BPOs are going to drive that innovation, going to hold their hand
mm,
from a growth standpoint. We're going back to basics. COVID times are no longer. We really like to get out to conferences, speak at conferences, meet with folks, build those trusted partnerships. That we got away from that post COVID. Trying Zoom everything, and really building those face to face relationships with partners such as yourself. And clients is that that's really how you build long-term relationships and add value. So, and AI, with a lot of companies want AI, but it's AI adoption is at the speed of trust. So some companies that feel that they've got all their data organized and secure, but it's just the speed of adoption is based upon that trust factor. So
Yeah.
we're going to
Yeah.
be able to help them. We're the CX advisory Sherpas, and we've done a really cool work in this past year. In our value prop is helping organizations reduce cost and improve performance, all in the same with the same partner, and leverage technology to drive efficiency and further cost disruption. But we're seeing numbers like 75% cost reduction going from US to offshore markets, and all their KPIs across the board are green. So we probably produced
Yeah.
about 35 case studies of just phenomenal production of cost reduction and performance improvement. So just doubling down on that, and making sure that there's optimal BPOs, and we're pushing the envelope, making sure the BPOs have those outcomes and strong delivery models to produce for our clients. But
That's
we're,
excellent.
we're
That's
having fun.
excellent.
We're having fun.
So, that brings up a question, so we've had a couple of clients, right? Enterprise clients that have had different business impacts due to federal policy, specifically tariffs.
Yes.
And clearly that federal policy is more about product. But I was kind of waiting, and I feel like I heard a little, but I don't really know that it turned into anything from DC around service jobs and offshoring. And is there any concerns around any policies? Because there's been a heavy offshore trend. I mean, that one could argue that's been happening for 20 years now at varied speeds, right?
Hmm.
Post COVID, driving up of labor costs here in the US, and people like just not wanting to relocate to work, and a whole lot of other things, right?
Yeah.
And the economy off and on have driven more offshoring. And I would argue, I don't know about last year, but it felt like in 23 and 24, it was in an escalated rate, even within our healthcare clients, which felt significantly increased from previous healthcare offshore.
Yeah.
Any concerns about policy or vibe on that at all? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, as you said earlier, they're aggressive policymakers, senators have brought up these bills over the last 20 years, and they've been shot down. The Trump administration, I can see getting it some momentum, but at the end of the day, with corporations getting impacted, their bottom lines on with tariff impact, and further not being able to outsource, that it would be an absolute disaster from a corporate bottom line standpoint. And even the people in the US, like literally call centers are closing in different markets because just people don't want to work. So I think it
True.
would be an absolute disaster, and I don't see it getting a lot of
True.
momentum. But it's been happening for decades, and I just don't see it, to be honest. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're a global economy today.
right.
Like that, you can't undo the fact that we are a global economy today.
No,
So,
not at all.
yeah. So, last thing, as a CEO to CEO, as we head
Mhm.
into 2026, any your best CEO advice to other executives in our space as we move into 2026?
So our corporate mantra this year is velocity. That's what we're going in because things are moving so fast at this with AI adoption, and we as an organization are looking at every role and how do we drive efficiency. But I think from a CEO to CEO, we need to move faster. We need to make decisions faster. We need to coach our team to improve their performance faster. And so we were talking about, are we both ready for 2026 on planning strategy? Because the velocity that I have planned for this year, I need another week. But that's where I'm going to make sure that I know my team is crystal clear on vision, direction, objectives, and the playbook that we can have double the amount of velocity that we had in 2025.
That's awesome.
I just didn't see it enough, and I hear that from a lot of clients and BPOs that if we can get our teams to produce faster velocity and
Yeah.
just making sure that we as executives are crystal clear on strategy
Yes.
playbook objectives, we can
Yes.
accomplish that.
Yeah, I love that. I'm very reflective at the end of the year. I'm always very reflective back on analyzing our business by vertical, by size, by service, and very thoughtful about like not that my entire conference planning list is done to your earlier point, but like intentional about like, setting some strategy and things moving into the new year. And so I feel good. I feel like overall the market's good. I'm bullish on 2026. We saw a lot of growth last year, and it's exciting. It's exciting times to be a junkie in
Yeah.
this space.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
been both blessed to be in
yeah,
this industry. It's evolved dramatically over the last 30 years, but
yeah,
I'm excited more than ever to help organizations with their labor strategy and digital optimization strategy.
yeah.
So we're right in the middle of kind of
All of
where
it.
every
Yeah,
organization we can add value. And when the market is cloudy, organizations such as outsource consultants can help provide
yes,
clarity for a lot of clients
yeah.
that need optimization for their tech and labor strategy. So that's what we're
Well,
here.
listen, and the market is cloudy because, as you and I discussed earlier, clients going out and just being able to get real clear access to what a BPO's experience is or a tech's capability is at that level is sometimes cloudy. So, having a third party like yours or mine come in and help organizations before big investment is made or big opportunity is missed definitely feels like an important thing right now with all the tech and AI. And if you're not in it trying to figure it out, you're going to be left behind for sure.
Exactly. I always say the two of us are here to help clients not step on any major landmines and look like rock stars in their
That's right.
organizations.
That's right. That's
So
right. And I like when we get to do that with you all the time too. So
absolutely.
thank
Well,
you, Corey,
hey,
for
absolutely.
joining me today. I look forward to sharing this. And to the rest of you, reach out to either one of us anytime. We'd love to help you with any of your challenges or strategy around all the things that Corey and I talked about today. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy 2026. Thanks all.
Thank